Welcome to the Order of the Dragons, and today we're going to be doing another skill explanation video for the Longsword and Shield. We've already done the Nodachi and the Glaive explanation video, so let's go ahead and start explaining it. We have the Furious Strike, and Furious Strike it's pretty damn useful in PvE, and it can be used in PvP. It can be used after this move called Fearless Charge, is when you charge in and you knock down your enemy opponent, doing a pretty good decent amount of damage, and then you can immediately use this. But it all depends on it depends on the player, as well as depends on the type of enemy. So it uses like 2 slashes with a 3rd slash and then a kick, which knocks down the opponent. But it's your rare chances that you're actually going to use all of the things. Like I said, it depends on what enemy you're facing. But you should use that immediately right after this one, is when you knock down the target, and you get a large amount of times to hit your enemy using this. Then we have Shield Bash, which knocks down the opponent in the 1st or 2nd hit when they're not defending. When they are defending, it damages their block, just like how I talked about in the Glaive class. They have a shield breaker skill. When you hit an enemy's block, it will damage their block really easily. But this one also stuns and knocks down the enemy if they are not blocking. This is really useful if you go with a combination like this. You knock him down, and then you hit him with this, which does another stun, and then you can keep constantly hitting him with your basic attack, which your shield and your sword. When you block, and you can keep stabbing with your sword. That works really well. You also have Fearless Strike, which is basically a miniature version of this, but with just the 2 swings. So it's more of a, if you're not used to immediately canceling out your move and dodging it, I would go for this. It's just 2 swings. You double attack your opponent, which does more damage than this one. But this one has more moves, which over time it will do more moves and a knockdown. But this will do more damage in a less period of time. It all depends if you want to use this one and then this one, or this one then this one. But I would say this would be better in PvP, and this would be pretty decent and in PvE. You can use this one in PvP, PvE, I mean, because but it has an 8-second cooldown. This one has a 7-second cooldown, so you can use this more than you could this one. And this one has more moves, which does more damage over time. But it's very slow, and it's quite risky if you don't cancel out your moves. But yeah, now we have Volley Strike. It's a sort of a more of a it protects, strike ahead to strike enemy with sword twice. It's like when you hold your shield and you stab your opponent, but that's for basic attack. This is more of a upgrade of that basic attack, and 2 swings, as it says, with sword twice, head and strike enemy with sword. It swings a shield. It swings the shield, and then you slice twice with your sword while defending. So it's pretty useful, but it reduces the enemy's damage by 90% during the skill releasing time. But it's only a couple seconds when it's used. It's like 1, 2, and then it's done. So it's not really useful unless you plan it on a move that you want it. Like if Poleaxe is about to use his ultimate move on you, you can use this, and it reduces 90% of the damage he does to you. But I wouldn't say it's a very good skill to use. You can learn how to use it and use it correctly on the right exact timing, and it can be useful, but it all depends on the player, on which of the skills to use. Because see, on Nodachi, there's a certain set of skills that will work perfectly that you need to use in a dueling situation, but in a lot of the other classes, you can use a lot of different skills in a lot of different ways, just based on how your playstyle you want it to be. So yeah. So we also got the prayer level 3. As you can tell, it says it heals your 5% of your max HP for 6 seconds. So it just keeps constantly healing your HP. Regenerate 10% your max HP at once. So that's an extra effect. This is if you don't take damage, it's 10% fast. 10% faster or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Regenerate for friendly forces around as well. So if you have a lot of allies around you on the field, as it says, it will start to regenerate their allies' HP as well. So if you have your ally units you have multiple officers right next to you, you can use this move. It starts regenerating your allies, and it's very useful when you're trying to raid into a base. We also have this one, Inspiring Shout. Now this one, it increases your speed. It's extremely useful for running away from ranged targets, as well as it increases your max HP by 30%. I haven't really thought about that because on the PTS, which we're on right now, it doesn't really feel like my HP is actually increasing at all. It doesn't even look like it. I don't see it moving up or nothing. Maybe it'll be different. Maybe people actually figure it out that it does. I don't really know. It also reduces damage from the enemy, but it's not much. It's only 10%. It also increases your Legion's max HP by 15%. So it's really good if you have your knights, your spear militia, and you're charging forward, and you use this move. It's really good if you want your men to last a little bit longer. But it's very useful in PvP and PvE situations when you're trying to get away and trying to heal your units and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's pretty decent. Now we have the Judgment level 1, and it attacks twice. First attack, it does like a pretty decent damage, 144% damage. And then the second attack, it does a knockdown. And when that you knock down, it does a third attack, which jumps up in the air and stabs the ground. So this move does pretty decent damage. You can use this in PvP as well, but you have to time it perfectly, like really well. If you use this and use this, it works like well in coordination as you keep continuously knocking them down. But I would recommend this one more than I would recommend this one, as this one, it brushes, knocks down the opponent. Because this is the perfect escape move. If you're right next, if you're an enemy to this guy and you're standing here and you're ready to attack, this guy can use this move. He can knock you down and he can immediately get away. So he can use this move and then use move to speed himself up. So it's a very good move if you're trying to escape, as well as you can knock down your enemy and knocks him down, and then you can immediately use this one, which does another bash and knocks him down again. And then you can use this and this skill to increase damage, increase your max HP, and etc. And then you can heal yourself and all that stuff. So it all depends on what playstyle you really want. On this class, it is very easy to learn, pretty easy to use, because you can use mostly any of these skills and still come out as a champion. It's a jack of all trades. Jack of all trade skills, but this one, you must always have this skill. This is a must on even PvE, PvP, just always have this. This one, you can have it on PvE. I would go for a PvE and PvP. I would just stick with, I would say this for PvE. Unless you want to be able to run away, you do this. But I would use this to be able to take out a lot of more AI units around me. So I would use this and then use this to take out PvP units, player versus player. And Judgment, you can learn Judgment to be very well in PvP as well, but this one would be better in PvP. So let me go ahead and show you a couple duels of me using this move, and this move, as well as I can do some coordination of these moves. All right, let's get into it. All right, so we have the rush move, you see here, and then we have the block and stab move. Okay. And we have this move that speeds up attack and also increases our defense. We have the heal move. What we did there was the shield bash move that stopped him. We missed the first hit, but we hit the second hit, which gave us our stunned him. There's a bit of lag there.
Scared and scared.
You sure you don't need to find out?
Stabbing. Managed to get me off guard. I missed my move there. A lot of the classes you do not want to miss your moves, as it is your main thing, especially against certain classes, because a lot of the classes currently are just extremely OP. The poleaxe and the longsword can be extremely OP at times, especially against certain classes. Like, it's really very difficult to beat them. There is the... Ooh, man. There we go. He almost got me, but I still got him. Alright, let's go ahead and switch over to the other skill set. Be this one, and let's say that one. Found something weird.
Yeah, have you tried jumping under here?
Jumping?
Like in these little...
Yeah, no.
They have a low ceiling, invisible ceiling.
Yep. Alright, come out of your body.
Yeah, I went over to the storeroom like, I want to jump on these crates. It's like, wait, I can't jump. What the fuck? Alright.
Oh, you canceled out my main? That's the problem with that thing, is like if it cancels out, it's not good if I cancel out. I do not know what's going on right now. I'm not doing what the game is doing. Like, it's like doing all these weird moves, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm not even pressing that.
Whatever you see the game is doing, I'm not doing it, I swear. It wasn't me, Johnny. Who was it?
Your mom.
No, she's in the other room. She's in the other room.
There we go. That move knocked him down. It still played his animation. It sometimes does that, but he is knocked down. Should have done that.
I guess the Vikings are losing, which is ironic.
There we go. And it's a draw. But as you can
Yes.
tell, that was the skills. Like, these battles can last forever. If you're like, you're defending, you're constantly healing, you're versing a class that also heals at the same time, you know, it can go on forever in dueling. But on the battlefield, it is a completely different thing. You'll have your units that completely crush, like on the sieges, on the ground. Your units is what is going to win the battle. It is not you. Like, you may have the greatest skill in the world, but it is your units. If you have no units and you decide to charge into a field of people that have 100 units, you're going to die in an instant, because your units are extremely helpful. They are your helpers. They are your family. You take them everywhere you go. You keep them safe. All right? They're like, I've seen the siege test. So many units died. So many family members died, okay? You got to keep them safe, guys. There are many tactics that you can use with your units and keep them alive, especially the spear units. If you manage to make a spear wall and you keep defending that line, don't let them pass that line, your units will survive, and you bring them over back to the healing area and you heal your units. And there's many tactics you can use where you can place your units on the wall. If you're attacking, you place your units on the wall, you secretly jump down, you get one of the supply points, and you summon another set of units. And so the units that you just summoned are gone, and you have new units right there, and you can heal, you shall have more units. So it's just really tactics and keep your units alive. All right? All right. Oh man, thank you guys for
your unit is families.
Yeah, your unit is your families. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching this Longsword and Shield explanation video. My next most likely will be the I don't really know. I got to get used to a lot of them. I'll talk to you guys later in the next video.